Dual set. Heart to heart.
Noonas podcast.
We are back. Another episode of the Noonas podcast. I'm Jenni.
I'm Jenni.
And we are once again back with another episode of the Noonas podcast. Kind of gonna be very interesting. I don't know how I want to call it, but I think we're going to start a new segment this week on the show.
Yeah, we don't have a name for it yet, but that would be planned on if there's nothing going on in the K-pop industry right now, we could just use that time to talk about some groups that you need to know and their influence into the music and K-pop in itself.
Called K-pop 101 in a way, just kind of spending some time focusing on a group that you should know. And this week we're going to get into the group I think everybody should know and everybody knows but doesn't really know.
We have a lot of friends. Yeah, we have a lot of friends who, who's starting to get into the music in K-pop, and then they would just ask us questions about what about this people? Does this people? What do they do? Blah 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 blah. What songs you wanted to show me, and hopefully we can use this as an opportunity to teach some of our what should we call the rookies, more the popular groups active right now.
Yeah, so
as well as older classic groups as well that they should learn too.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely use this segment as an opportunity to learn some of that, especially some of the second generation groups, as well as some of the older third generation groups who are kind of in the middle of hiatus right now because their members are going into the military or are currently in the military, so they're kind of in a little bit of a limbo status right now. That being said, we are going to be talking about BTS today. So if you don't want to listen to us, I know Cedric, I love you, honey, but we're talking about BTS today, and we're talking about them in depth.
How much are we talking about Dynamite?
No, I swear to God, we're not going to be bringing up Dynamite as much. He still hates that song. He really, really hates that song.
Yeah, that was messing with him last Sunday, and just singing and just nope. Stop. He could have quit. He could have disconnected, but why was he still there to listen? That's weird.
The stuffer, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you know him too much. Tells the secrets. You're masochist.
Also, you don't get the two of us in the same chat room because we just have a gift war with each other because we were just seriously throwing gifts at one another the whole time as I was watching football, which I might have to bring up because I'm actually also recording the sports show tonight. Behind the scenes, I'm also recording the sports show tonight. And I'm not sure how annoyed Cedric was when I was doing that, but I don't care. But first, before we get into, I guess, a little bit of history about BTS and some of our favorite BTS songs, there is an album review we wanted to touch on this week. Some
albums or some singles that came out this week.
Yeah, just some quick little kind of, as I was saying before off, a little hit and quit it this week in terms of albums. I know next week I have a few that I'm looking forward to. Namely, I know Dreamcatcher is coming back with their mini. Right. And as well as Golden Child coming back with another mini too, which I don't know if you've seen the trailer for their comeback.
I know. You know what? It's kind of a random thing, but I was intrigued on a new boy group that with their teaser trailers till they'll be debuting pretty soon. It's called Kingdom. No, not the show that happened. Yeah, Kingdom, the boy group. I was looking at their teaser trailers for their song, their debut song Excalibur. Holy crap, this is promising. It's
I saw that. I saw that too, and I was like, "Oh, this is something we're gonna have to check out because they're debuting next month, I believe." Next month,
but the production or the look, I can already tell, and Hypen, with their vampire identity, them, they have their look already. I know, I can easily identify with these guys.
Yeah, there's something about I don't know, groups in these more fantasy storylines or themes that they do that I really like. So because we're going in Hyphen and I go with ATs, which has that pirate theme, but it's more of a realistic pirate theme. We're going to get into ATs eventually one day during this whole segment because I have to educate Jenni on ATs. But I'm not going to tease you with sign gifts like I was doing on Sunday. Shush.
Sure, promise.
Maybe. But no, because Golden Child had their comeback teaser trailer, and they literally had 2 teaser trailers. One is like literally the trailer to like a movie, because it's like a zombie movie, and then they have like an actual trailer like for the music video. I don't know how they're doing this when the solo comes or when the album drops on Monday, but I'm intrigued as hell. Also, because I did really dig their last comeback with Lucid Dreams. So that's on my radar for next week, as well as Dreamcatcher, because Dreamcatcher is always on my radar. But we have that for next week, but we're going to get to this week's album review. And this week, we are touching on, I guess, kind of rookie group. They've just kind of graduated out of rookie status because they debuted back in early 2019, like January 2019. I'm talking about the group OneUs and their first full album, Devil, which is a follow-up to their last mini album, which was called Lived, which came out back in August. So Lived, Devil.
Yeah, I remember my sister. I remember my sister like showing some OneUs songs back in the summer. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Didn't really gravitate me that much, but yeah, I just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of been floating on my radar since they debuted with Valkyrie and then Lit, which have been their 2 big singles. Valkyrie being their like debut single, and then Lit kind of was on my radar, mostly because it was kind of ripping off Idol in a way. If you look at the music video, it's very Idol-esque in a way. And I'm comparing it to Idol from BTS because there's a lot of that very similar styling. Though I mean, I like the song itself is fun, but I just was like, okay. And I'm bringing this up as we get to the debut, or not the debut single, but the title track from this album, the lead solo being No Diggity. And not gonna lie, I was really disappointed in this.
Because I saw I had to check it out it's like a OneUs something, and it's on my recommended feed on YouTube. So I had to check it out, see we have to talk about it in the later show, and I was like, okay, so that was so that exists, and then I just moved on to what I was doing. So that's pretty much how I felt. I was like, okay. I was close to see if it's worthy of putting on my K-pop playlist, and then okay, I'm trying to another things, into other things and what I'm doing.
Yeah, I am not gonna lie. I mean, I was talking with some of my other K-pop friends, and my friend literally, she came to my chat and she's like, listen to the song. So she had me listen to No Diggity, and she's like, and then listen to this, and she gave me AT's Thanks.
Oh,
not going to lie, the pre-chorus and chorus of No Diggity sound a lot like the pre-chorus and chorus to Thanks.
Okay, because based on how I listened to that song No Diggity first, it just to me it just I may not be familiar with OneUs yet, and I still need to explore some of their discography, but from that alone, I can just tell how they borrowed some elements from already existing groups. They borrowed some styles from Stray Kids with some of the members. I thought that was I thought that was Hyunjin, and I was like, wait, is that Hyunjin? No, someone else.
Okay, I'm not the only one. That's their maknae. That's the maknae of the group. That's Zion. That's the maknae, and his styling looks a lot like Hyunjin before Hyunjin dyed his hair back to black, because he had the blonde hair for the longest time between
the long blonde hair.
The long blonde hair between God's Menu and Backdoor. The second half of 2020 was him in blonde hair, and it seriously was very eerie, the both of them looking very very
I know how a lot of people are saying, oh, K-pop, they look like a bunch of girls, even though they would a lot of 80s songs with androgynous artists, whatever. But yeah, at first I was so mean, because at first I thought they have an actress to be in the video, but I don't know. Oh, it's one of the members. So it's the Hyunjin look like oh my gosh. you can see how messy, like how I'm like receiving this, like look at the video, like how messy like I got in. So that's pretty much how I would describe like the video and the song, as well as like listening to the rest of the album. Is just like, like narratively speaking, like the music is just like really consistent. Like I couldn't like catch what theme that they're trying to like make here. Like I know it's like devil, but I just don't see the catch, or don't see how it connects to like the whole overall like theme into like their music. So yeah, it's like it's all over the place.
Yeah, I got the same vibe too when listening to it. Narratively, because I mean, a lot of the K-pop albums that I know I do tend to like do have more of like an overarching story. Like you can kind of tell there's an overarching story, or that the album makes sense. Like it flows. This is just a hodgepodge of them, I think, throwing almost everything at the wall, seeing what sticks, because they're not quite as big as other fourth gen groups right now. You know, they're not as big as, say, Stray Kids, ATs, The Boys, TXT.
Yeah.
They're not quite there yet.
They just borrowed, like, you know, like again, Stray Kids and AT, like you said, like their songs really sound like Thanks, and and then just like the music overall is just like, I know I can hear like some people criticizing some like boy groups of like being too overproduced. Yeah, like for this, I would agree. Like this is too overproduced and it's just loud. Like for me, for no apparent reason. It's just,
I literally think No Diggity sounds a lot like Thanks. If you threw Thanks in Teddy's hands, Teddy being the main producer to Blackpink stuff, that's what I think it sounds like, because it very much is that very overproduced thing that Teddy does, like that same kind of progression throughout the song. And yeah, I mean, it's the music video is so visually all over the place. Like the music video felt very Stray Kids. The song felt very ATs. And I'm sitting here like, especially after the last album between Lived, which actually had like a narrative arc to it. It was a very dark, more kind of gothic album, especially between the solo To Be or Not to Be, and then Come Back Home. Like those were way more like thematic and more what I gravitate to. And I thought they were going to go something along those lines. And you kind of see maybe trying to do something like that. But in like one of the songs, and I can't remember which song it is off the top of my head, but they just like completely threw that out the window, and I'm very disappointed that they did, because that was a great kind of storyline they were playing with, because they were kind of playing with this idea of like a redemption in a way, visually with the story. So yeah, I'm really disappointed in it, and I like. Especially coming from, they're under RBW, they're under our Rainbow Bridge World, which is the same company that Mamamoo under. And seeing how Mamamoo, can keep their stuff pretty thematically, consistent.
It's like, they're like subdued, and like it's like had their like really unique in style and music. I mean, the sound too. It's just like for like OneUs, I just like it feels like they are thrown like into like another like typical K-pop boy band that has like the same like generic sounds. That's how I feel like. Kind of sucks because that's like my first like delving into like the group itself, and that was like a bad start for my experiences. Just like to listen to that album, the whole album first for the first time.
I say, if you want to try to give them another chance, go listen to their last album. Go listen to Lived, because that's a mini album. And it's so much thematically just more like concise, and like especially between the first three songs, between the intro, Lived, To Be or Not to Be, and then the third song on the album, like all three of them arc so well together. Like I'm missing that on this album, and it's disappointing. And like, honest to God, I was listening through the whole entire album, and the song that they should have done as their single, in my opinion, was Lionheart, because that felt more OneUs to me than No Diggity did, from what I know and what I've understand of OneUs in their music.
I think the only song that I like that showed like promise was just their intro track, and then the rest just like fell down for me. Where am I? Like where am I going with this album? It's just, man, yeah.
Yeah, it's disappointing, especially because they did kind of maybe get a tiny bit of a boost because they were on Road to Kingdom. They finished 4th on Road to Kingdom, and they literally finished in the middle of the pack. And so, like, I mean, that was an opportunity for them too. That's where you got the single "Come Back Home" from, which seriously, go watch "Come Back Home." Go watch the stuff from "Come Back Home" from OneUs. Like, that's insane. As well as their like I said, I go listen to "Lived," but rather than "Devil." Like, it's just very disappointing because I thought they were going to go somewhere, especially after the last comeback, and then just to completely miss the point, I think, is very disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just gonna, unfortunately, if they keep up like this, they're gonna get lost in the amount of boy groups that are out there, because there are a ton of groups, as we've talked about week to week. There's multiple groups that we talk about, and they're just going to get lost in the shuffle of these 4th gen groups that are coming out or who are out. And I don't want to see that, but if they don't change, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, we always hope for, like, because these are young artists. Like, we hope for, like, they get like the best, or like they succeed in their own way. And since it's like they're like young aspiring artists, like, we don't want them to burn out quickly, especially all the hard work and training that they've done. So yeah,
and they're all immensely talented. They all were on they all were idols in previous, or not idols, but they're all trainees in previous places. They're all either on Mix 9 or Produce 101. So they are all very talented individuals. And just to kind of see that talent go to waste is, like I said, disappointing as hell. So yeah, I'm not so. This album was a true devil.
I was about to say that, like, you took my joke. I can't believe you. I took my joke. I was like, can I make that joke? I was like, nah, it's gonna be too cheesy. Like,
and I'm here for the cheesy, so yeah.
Oh man,
as my dog comes and attacks me. Hi, doggo. Like, him attack me with the cheesy jokes. So, but I mean, besides that disappointment, I guess, this week, at least we did have some good music that came out this week. We're just gonna kind of touch on a little bit. First, the one I completely missed my radar that Jenni told me about on Facebook the other day, with TVXQ's from his second mini album, his second solo mini album.
Yeah, also we're gonna be talking with like we'll just quickly discuss like old but really classic, like, you should like get to know these artists. Yeah, like from TVXQ, as well as like the next person that we're going to be maybe mentioned to. Yeah, that music video, because I keep on saying that the thumbnail on like cause SM Entertainment, but I just cannot believe I like completely missed during the preview date, and I just like saw it just a bit later, and I was just like super blown away by the production, because it's not like any other like high end K-pop video, but like this is like really cinematic. It like drew a lot of elements from like Old Boy, the Korean original Old Boy, as well as like some Tarantino film, and that was from SM Entertainment, rated 19 video. So you're in for some like gritty shit when you're seeing that video.
TV 19 in Korea is basically equated to TVMA here in the States. For those of you wondering, because like if their video is rated TV 19, they can't show it on TV in Korea.
Yeah, it's R-rated. Yeah, it's pretty
much R-rated. But yeah, I mean, because that music video really, it was like definitely gave like Old Boy vibes. It gave like very Kill Bill vibes, if we're going with Tarantino. Yeah. And just even the song itself, because always does like these amazing kind of like club-esque sounds.
Yeah, it's like a bit of jazz influence as well, because when you hear like a lot of TVXQ songs, it's like they really took a lot of like the old school vibes in their songs, and then just like made it like in their modern take.
Yeah. So TVXQ is definitely a group I need to dig in further. I just know, from a lot of variety show appearances, because he's a great entertainer too. He's been on quite a few variety shows in Korea. He's just an all around really great entertainer and really great guy. So Yeah, I actually need to go and listen to that second mini album. But from what I have previously heard from stuff, I am really excited to listen to it. What I have listened to this week, which I know was a huge anticipated.
This is a real comeback. Yeah,
this is a real comeback. This is a huge anticipated comeback in Korea. We're talking about Epik High's their current album that they just released on Monday, which if you don't know Epik High basically has influenced a whole slew of rappers in Korea and hip hop artists.
They like paved the way of like Korean hip hop and and just like really made it like really influential and popular.
Mm-hmm. Like they are like most like even like you can get Epik High is the reason we have BTS, you guys. Like Epik High is quintessential, like I think one of the best hip hop acts in Korea. They were very popular way back in the day. As they got older,
when did they like really start out? Like what year?
They've been doing stuff since like the early 2000s. They've been on since like end of the first generation, early second generation of, I guess, if you want to talk K-pop music, but like they kind of were like the establishing force. Like you have Seotaji and the boys, and then you have
the first generation,
Epik High, who kind of paved the way to how we have K-pop as it is now, with a lot of hip hop influence. And
because I know like Seotaji, like they have a more of like a really old school like 80s sounding like style with their hip hop, and I think Seotaji like really like drew from like more of the 90s, like the more of like the gritty edge of like the hip hop music too. So that's how I kind of like see them as.
Yeah, and Epik High's played a lot with like, I think they play a lot more with like the 90s style of hip hop. Like it's definitely more it's more in your face, but like it's almost lyrical poetry. Like listening to Tablo's rapped and he's from the States, I believe. Tablo's from the States.
Tablo, I think he's Canadian.
Is he Canadian? He might be. Yeah, he's Canadian. I know he went to Stanford.
US in his own movie.
Yeah, because there's a whole. And this is something we'll have to get into when we talk about Epik High, because Epik High is another one of these groups that we need to talk about because they are quintessential when you're talking about K-pop as a like ground sparing there's like the footstones of K-pop. You have to, unfortunately, it was part of a whole like plagiarism scandal that was proven to be false, but unfortunately
still like stuck with
the whole mess. Yeah, it was a mess. And I'll have to get into that at a later time. But and they are, they've all grown up, they all have families and stuff. And
like one of the members was one of the first people from The Return of Superman that I used to, I really watched a lot.
So and they have worked with everything. There's a joke that they've literally worked with almost every female artist. Tablo's worked with almost every female artist in Korea, like either producing or like with songs, whether it's for an OST or whether it's for this album. Even the current single out of this one, Rosario, is featuring CL, the iconic queen CL from 21, as well as Zico, who's a great who's a great rapper as well, who's now currently in the military. So I'm like, they must have definitely recorded this way in the beginning of 2020, since Zico is currently enlisted in the military, and filmed the music video too, for that matter. But it's a great album. I say go listen to it. Great hip hop vibes. Just amazing raps are just gonna make you think.
They're like the kind of conscious like style of like hip hop, like rap, It's something that we really need, and like even in our American hip hop like these days. Like I know we got Kendrick, but like he's being overshadowed with other like popular quickly throw in the bin like manufactured artists too. So like that's why I wish like they would like bring back in like music and hip hop, like the conscious and like philosophical like type of like themes with the music.
Yeah,
which some artists like with BTS will explore later on. But yeah,
it's Go listen to it. Go listen to Epik High's new album. Epik High, the album is called Epik High's Here Part 1. And it's so good, like, especially with Tabo calling out his haters.
I got me. It really hits hard. I forgot the lyrics, but do you remember? Oh man,
yeah, I think it was the outro "Wish You Were" is like, oh, like that hit me like right at the end there. It's seriously go. Also, just go listen to the album. Go listen to Epik High's Here. It's amazing.
Yeah, even the Rosario, like he said something that was really like spit worthy, like kind of almost like scathing. Like, but I can't believe I forgot it. Yeah, it's like right there on the edge. But yeah, oh man.
Yeah, go listen to Rosario. Rosario's great. It literally is fire. So, yeah, no, I really like Epik High, and I'm happy that they're able to make music when they want to make music, because again, they're grown ass men with families. Like they
TVXQ as well too.
Because I think he references, like, you call me washed up. It's like, no, I moved on and have a family. Like, this is what I'm doing now. So shut up.
I think that's I think it's probably one of like the things I was thinking about. But should really listen to more of their stuff.
Yeah. So, but I think we're going to get into our main topic this week, which is. Yeah. I guess I'm going to call it right now Kpop 101, because I can't think of anything else right now. It's generic as hell. I'm sure I'll come up with something more creative down the road. But I think we just as me and Jenni have, dived more and more into K-pop, especially as the amount of groups out there. Just kind of think it'd be nice just to kind of educate people into finding, like, why is this so-and-so group like so big as they are? And like, why should I listen to them? And like, what songs should I listen to? So we're going to kind of go into that today. And we're going to start off with obviously the biggest group in the world.
BTS, name group in the whole world.
Like, quote unquote, even outside of K-pop, like, you're not in the know if you don't know about BTS right now. Because I mean, every time I talk to anybody about K-pop, I'm like, "Do you know BTS?" And half the time, they've at least heard of BTS. Like, oh, is that Asian group? It's like, yeah, it's that Asian group. But
they pretty much think like every K-pop is BTS. Like, there's more from outside of just BTS, but I think when people are thinking about K-pop nowadays, it's not Gangnam Style anymore. It's BTS.
Yeah, no, because I mean, for the longest time, obviously we had Gangnam Style, which broke over into the Western world back in 2012?
I think. Yeah, it was 2012.
Yeah, it was just after I got out of college. That's how long ago that was.
It's 2012 when we thought like the world was going to end, and like Psy just like brought it back, and the world was saved. Not the Avengers.
All was saved because of K-pop. This is why
it's more of an ironic comedic way, because like I think that's like the people were drawn into like the just like how funny it looked.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that barely scratches the surface, even to what K-pop was back in 2012, because we'll get into second generation groups eventually down the road, because I know there's definitely some second gen groups I want to we want to talk about and check out, but yeah, let's get into BTS. Let's kind of get into, I guess, a little bit of the history of BTS. If you know someone if you're like, anyway, if you think around me all the time, because I will bore you to death with BTS, because this is who I am. Let me start with the history. So, they've been around since 2013, or they at least debuted in 2013.
2013, yeah.
But they've been kind of slowly got formed like years before then. Like they had like their trainee days were like 2010 almost to 2013. But BTS is a 7-member group from Big Hit Entertainment, consisting of the members RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. I don't know. I'm feeling I'm probably going to be hopping back and forth between real names and their stage names because that's
like
what they do.
Like, maybe just address them by their stage names, and then maybe they can
let's do that because it's half the reason why you fall down the rabbit hole for BTS. It's like, I just want to learn their names.
Even then this is general stage names, and then when you hear another name, like, wait, who's that supposed to be? Oh, that's the real name? Oh, wow, okay.
So RM is the stage name of the leader of the group, Kim Namjoon. Jin is the name of the oldest member, Kim Seokjin. Suga is the second oldest member, and basically, I would say, do you think Yoongi is like the main producer of the group because he's got a lot of production?
Pretty much. So we'll talk about like the rappers of BTS, but he's pretty much like the one who make their music.
Yeah. So, but that's Min Yoongi, Suga, who does quite a bit of the production side of it, and also is one of the rappers of the group. And then next we have J-Hope, who is real name is Jung Ho Sok, who is also a rapper of the group. And then we have Park Jimin, which is also Jimin, who's also vocalist. Then you have V or Kim Tae-hung, who's also another vocalist. And then you have the youngest of the group, the maknae of the group, Jungkook, which is Jung Jungkook. So he's a vocalist, but he's also done some rapping too.
Rapping, dancer. I think he's like the jack of all trades in BTS.
And that's also why they call him the Golden Maknae, because he is just so good in everything that he does.
Yeah, and I guess one of the most versatile members and from pretty much right now in K-pop right now, because he's like so good at everything. Oh, yeah. Well, most of everything.
Most everything. I think there's very few things that he's bad at. But I mean, in the dancers of the group, because if you want to because basically you break down BTS between the rap line and the vocal line, but then you also have the main dancers of the group, which are pretty much J-Hope, or I'm going to probably call him, as I call him, Hobie, because everybody calls him Hobie.
That's his nickname. Yeah.
That's Hobie. His nickname is Hobie. It's probably between Hobie, who is probably the lead dancer of the group, because his choreography is really, really good.
Yeah, he's like pretty much like their dancer, like their choreographer in a way.
Besides the main choreographer from Big Hit Entertainment, but I know they work together very well. And then Jimin and Jungkook also are pretty much wrapped around like the main dancers of the group. Like they're like the go-to, main like dancers, like they'll showcase, but like all of them are really good dancers, even though
and they have like their own style of like dancing too. Like you see with J-Hope, I think because when he was recruited, I think they found him in an underground hip hop dance group.
Yeah, he was a big in like dance groups and stuff. He actually was part of a dance group that was winning awards in his hometown of Gwangju. I mean, and let's put this way, a lot of the members were kind of underground stuff. Like both RM and Suga were both underground rappers when they signed on to Big Hit Entertainment. And the funny thing was that Suga actually wanted to just be a producer. He didn't want to be in a group. Somehow they managed to convince him to join a group, because because originally the hilarious thing was they were going to be a straight hip hop group. Like they were trying to make BTS
that's how
straight.
They started out like this. Like originally, when you think of them as like a really poppy group, no, they started out as like a hard edge hip hop boy group with black clothes and baggy shirts. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Might be a little cringy nowadays, which I think they do cringe a little bit on it sometimes when they watch some of the stuff when they're back in 2013, which, I mean, who doesn't cringe on what they looked like back in 2013? But third generation K-pop, they have some weird style of clothes. Yeah, there were some interesting periods in terms of third generation K-pop when they were definitely trying, I think, a little hard on the hip hop stuff. Like they were definitely was kind of more of like a parody of hip hop in a way, like from what you see. Like
try hard, but the people really don't pay attention to the music itself, which I think it will be kind of a fault. I think you should probably just need to listen to the audio and not look at the music video, because you can probably get turned off by what is this weird film?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you want to be a purist, go watch the music video to "No More Dream," which was their debut single. I still don't know why the hell they wore that damn mask on Hobie's face. I still don't know why, because it's this weird like BDSM-esque mask with spikes on it, and it's weird as hell. I'm like, why are you covering this man's half of this man's face?
Yeah, metal like accessories and with like with a lot of groups in BTS is also a victim to that.
Oh yeah, especially with the eyeliner and stuff too. Because they had that heavy, early 2010s eyeliner.
Eyeliner.
Because I mean, because you look at it now, and like you even look like Jin and Jim and stuff, like the way we've seen them grow into the artists that they become, and like you kind of tell it's a little awkward for them because this is a little not kind of in their vein. For V, it works because V loves hip hop, so like I could totally see him doing this. He's such a hip hop lover. But yeah, it's it's a little cringy. I'm not gonna lie. Going back and listen to stuff from Too Cool for School, which was their debut album. I mean, you definitely see the bass of BTS's like very hip hop base of their music, and it's very hip hop.
And you can like when you listen to like songs such as "No More Dream," like some of like the music things that you can hear, like the elements, you can hear like the bass line, something you would hear from like 90s hip hop, because you know how like they're really influencing not just like the modern artists like Kendrick Lamar or maybe even like the trap artists like Migos, but they also like the rap line also like listen to like the old school hip hop, and as well as like Epik High, like that's one of their main influences at the time. So I can actually like that's why I really appreciate with like BTS, like their like where they came from and their roots. It's just I really love like their hip hop like more aggressive side into from them, and I think that, it's like people should like I always like tell people like go listen to their hip hop like sides and like their rap verses. It's just like like hopefully you'd be able to appreciate them more and not just their pop aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, although they didn't really achieve success really until they kind of, I won't say completely changed their sound, because when they started, they evolved their sound. Like their sound definitely has evolved from because you even see it in their first era, quote unquote, era of their music, which quote unquote Army calls the school era, which is Too Cool for School. Are you late too? Which is stylized O, letter R, letter U, letter the number 8, and oh god, it's an amalgamation of letters and numbers.
It's pretty much like how Prince would like just title like put his titles or write his titles. It's just like with U's and the 2's, that number 2.
It was a whole thing. And then even with School Love Affair, and then Dark and Wild, which was their first full length album, which they dropped in 2014. So this is like the first 2 years of BTS. Is very, very hip hop heavy. Though you do see some bright spots with like some more ballad stuff, which you kind of see then blossoms into what you get later down the road with BTS. And look at songs like Just One Day, which was their main single off of School Love Affair, which is one of my favorite songs of that era, I think. Because it's very ballady. Like it's very much like a love song and a ballad love song, and I really, really do like it. It's a slower song from them. And it's a good song. It's a very good song. But yeah, it's you can tell that they were kind of slowly going upwards, because when they debuted, let's put it this way, when they debuted with Big Hit Entertainment, this is back in 2013, where basically K-pop is ruled by the 3 big kings, YG, SM, and JYP, and mostly probably at this point it's mostly SM and YG, because those two were the kings of the K-pop industry. Basically, a lot of smaller companies, unlike now where social media helps a lot with being able to help these smaller companies get looked at and stuff. Back then you really were like limited to what you had with the music shows. And even then, when they first started, they were not really casted much to go on the music shows. Like there's stories that are the first couple times that they were not able to go on the music shows because they were basically a last minute substitution for another group. And so, and even their album sales weren't that great. Not like you see nowadays where they're breaking records nearly every album release. Like they started out with
hearing about their origins is pretty much like an underdog story with BTS, because like they came from like a no name, like, you know, quote unquote no name, like a company such as Big Hit, you know, like people like major networks just like look down upon them, like oh, they're not gonna make it big, you know. And they just to see them like grow and just like push like barriers of like to success is just like just really amazing to listen to and hear.
Yeah,
how, so like they got to this point.
Yeah, how they got their way here. And basically their biggest break, I don't think, came until 2015 when they came back with what is quote unquote, I think, like what really started catapulting them onto the world stage, which was the Most Beautiful Moment in Life era, which hands down I think is my favorite era. It's between this and the Wings era, like that are my favorite eras of BTS.
Because I came upon them late, you know, like when they're now in their prime, and I think the first thing I've started is like that era of like the Most Beautiful Moments, that and like going to the Wings, and then like going like to like later after like to their later discography. I think that's how I pretty much started listening to BTS.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to listen to like the really hip hop heavy stuff, I still say you should go listen to their hip hop heavy stuff. Like it is really quintessential that you listen to it, because it definitely builds a great base to listening to BTS. But if you want to get into more of like their more, I don't want to say poppy, because it's not really poppy, because it's still very in the veins of hip hop, but they bring a lot of gravitas to it, and they make these beautifully like poetic songs. Like like just the prose of it all is really, really done. Like I look at I Need You, and I look at Run from Most Beautiful Moment Part 1 and 2. And those are beautiful songs, and that, you know, talk about heartbreak and just, you know, growing up and stuff. And this is where we start getting into where, and they've always kind of touched upon this. They've always kind of broken the barriers of them talking about things that were not typically commonly talked about in K-pop. Like No More Dream.
You know how, like, because you know how how K-pop, they just only talk about like just the most generic subjects, like love, like I want to get with you, girl, like all that romantic ideal romance. But like with BTS, what makes them like so relevant and like so relevant and like really connect with their audience is they do talk about like the real difficult things in life, and like the social the social barriers between like people, as well as like all like the heartbreaks and like the anxieties that the kids experience, like, you know, like social I forgot what's like the difficulties that they experience, especially with the youth.
Yeah, I mean, they've always tried to connect with like my generation and maybe Jenni's generation. I mean, we're pretty much almost the same generation because we're millennials, but like millennials and some Gen Zers, like they've really connected with this whole like youth. They've always played like with this idea of youth, but they've really brought it to where social issues, like their first single, we'll talk about, let me go back to No More Dream. No More Dream was literally a song talking about, you know, you don't need to have a dream because they always force a dream on you in life. And it's like, it's okay not to have a dream. Like they've harped on that. It's like, it's okay. You don't have to have a dream in order to be successful in life.
Even their society that's like putting down like expectations on you, and then, you know, it's putting like so much pressure to like the people growing up and people wanting to like what they wanted to pursue in life. So it's pretty much like what they deliver in their messages back then. Yeah.
And there's a lot of their B-sides too that do touch on like I almost call them their anti-establishment B-sides.
Yeah, they're pretty much like that before. Anti-establishment, like the punk era from BTS.
Yeah. pretty much. Like they kind of had some more anti-establishment stuff, like compared to like other groups in K-pop, especially at that time. Like I said, they pretty much pioneered what we see now in terms of like groups talking about a lot of like youth and talking about more like
more realistic issues,
issues instead of just love. Although love is still talked about because I mean, love is a pretty common thing to talk about in music, but they've at least expanded that world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you get into the Most Beautiful Moment era, which is really when they start taking off. This is when they start getting their first wins on music shows. This is when they start kind of growing in popularity. And it's important to note, too, that they achieved like some success in Korea, but they were starting to get more noticed outside of Korea, especially in Japan. And some noticed in the States at this point, too. Mostly a lot of their way people got to know them was because of social media. They were very, 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 very active on Twitter back in the day. You go take back into their Twitter in 2014, 2015, and there's some wild stuff on Twitter back in the day. Some wild music recommendations, some wild videos of them. It's like that's how people kind of got to know them and kind of got to like fall in love with them a little bit, because you kind of got to see these 7 goofy boys really just kind of being like normal, normal kids.
Normal. If I could like expand on that, it's just like how I got into BTS. It wasn't just their songs actually. I think I got to know them just by like their like random videos, like just like how like in YouTube make like crack compilations of or meme compilations with BTS. It's pretty much how I got to know them and how I like I was like really appreciate like their humor and like their personalities, and it's no wonder why like they first won like social media awards is because they really connect well with like their audience. They interact with them, and then they show them like their real size and like their hilarious side, their hilarious antics whenever they're on like variety shows. It's pretty much when 2019 when I started like looking into K-pop, especially with BTS, that's pretty much what I watch is like just like hilarious like clips and compilations. If I would like show you like share some like the videos like the BTS zombie apocalypse and BTS run, some members like their iconic like the meme moments like with J-Hope like screaming his ass off, or Jin's like being like the mom of the group is, or V just being like a random weird weird kid. That's how I got to know like each of them, and then the music came in later, and then I started listening to it, and then like gradually fell in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why everyone points a lot to their social media success and to their worldwide success. And yeah, I mean, they seriously like they're great entertainers. Like, because I do watch, they have they do a variety show every week that they produce themselves, or at least through Big Hit that they produce, called Run BTS, which is a great way for people to kind of get to know like their actual like sides. And there's a backlog of like, oh my god, because I think episode 125 just came out this week. So there's a backlog of like 100 episodes from the past 5 years you can watch, and you can kind of see them grow, because I think they started Run BTS during the Wings era, if I remember correctly. So everything from like Wings era up until now. And they kind of take breaks when they're promoting albums, but it's just a fun way to like get to know them in a way. And that's the thing about K-pop too, is they allow all this stuff to happen. So you kind of get to know them in a way. I mean, it's not like you know them personally, because obviously, like, I will say this because Jin is usually very, very private person. Like he's hilarious, and he definitely knows how to make a room like brighter with his personality and with his jokes and stuff. But he still keeps a lot to himself hidden. Like I found out today that Jin is allergic to potatoes and garlic. Which, because unfortunately he used to cook a lot, and now he can't really cook because he's more allergic to potatoes than he is to garlic. And it sucks because there's a lot of potato starch used in Korean cooking. But randomly found that out today. But yeah, I mean, these are like the things that you just find as you just kind of, get yourself more immersed into the world. And it's refreshing in a way, because it just kind of gives you, and like you have to make sure you maintain that wall between, fan and artist. But like they really do merge together. Like we're not here by ourselves. We're here because of ARMY. And so it's a very symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, which is like the fan name of BTS.
They know how to navigate that very, very well. Like they always are very grateful for everything that ARMY does. And ARMY is always very grateful what they do. And it's just, back and forth and back and forth. I mean, earlier last summer, BTS and Big Hit Entertainment donated $1 million to Black Lives Matters, and ARMY matched that with a little bit over a day. They matched that $1 million to donate to Black Lives Matter. So it shows that impressive use of fandom in terms of good. So I mean, to say there's still bad parts of fandom because
there's still the parts of with BTS fans and then the sasaengs, which the armies will call them out we do not associate with them, they're their own breed. And
there have been programs where armies have actually helped them to get from the airport, from the terminal to their waiting cars and stuff, and to get away from sasaengs, and to help them from getting mobbed and stuff. I know they were doing that during I think their tour back in 2018. That was the Purple Ribbon organization that was trying to help them with that. So there is good within ARMY, even with some of the bad, but there is a lot of good within it too. And it's always fluxing. They're always just trying to make ourselves better. I found, especially with the diverse amount of people I've met through ARMY, because I've met people of every race, creed, orientation, gender, through the rough. ARMY is diverse. Yeah. So it's not just a bunch of teenage girls screaming their heads off. ARMY is very diverse in age and everything.
Yeah, and it helps too, how BTS are really active in their philanthropy. They did attend to the UN and RM addressed equal love, no matter what gender you are. So pretty much help that they are open to these ideals and they are progressive to it. And I'm glad to see other groups outside of BTS are following in that type of mindset, this positive mindset now, as hopefully the society, especially in Korea, will move on to become more open-minded to more of these ideals.
Mm-hmm. Especially because, as we said before, Korea is a very conservative country. Gay rights over there is not as progressive as is here in the States. A lot of people in Korea are closeted gays because it's not very widely accepted, but it's hopefully slowly, as more people are speaking out about it. Because I know both RM and both Suga have actually, I think, explicitly stated they are pro LGBT.
Oh yeah. Even Suga puts them some lyrics that are open to LGBT as well too. Mm-hmm. I remember
they've made an effort to actually make their lyrics very inclusive to everybody. There is no gender within their lyrics.
And they're really considerate too. Yeah, because there would be some Korean terms that people would not be familiar with, the term of you, addressing you sounds like the N-word in America. So even RM took notes and told his members we need to change up some of the lyrics when we get to America, so people won't catch the wrong message to it.
Yeah, because the you in Korea is nega, but if you say it,
nega is nai.
Yeah, nega. Yeah, so if you say it really quickly, it sounds like something else. And so they've worked on their inflection, especially because they do perform here in the States. They've worked on that inflection so it doesn't come across wrong. So they're really, really in the know of what's going on and stuff. And and you even go into their stuff, they really started getting more worldwide fame, I think, during Wayne's era, when Blood, Sweat, and Tears came out, because right after Wayne's came out is when I think they first got nominated for best social artist at the Billboard, and that's when they won that was the first award they won, as an American award, I should say, that they won here in the States. And then that just really kind of started snowballing, because now more and more people are starting to get to know them, because that was 2017. So you get past, Wings era, which again, I also say one of my favorite eras. Also, when you start breaking down into musically, that's when they were really getting experimental musically, because they started diving into like, more gospel. There's more gospel, like with J-Hope's Mama. You get into like more soulful stuff with like Jim and Sly. Even Suga's First Love is very like stripped down rap, and it's beautifully done. Yeah, it's just like you just see the growth of their music and how they've played with and how they've mixed genres so well. But they still kept it themselves. Like, it's still within the lyrics. It's a BTS song because it's what they're talking about.
Yeah, and, like how like they said, like how they first started out like addressing like some anti-establishment like ideals, as well as like like talking about like the struggles of like between like the youth would experience in their lives, like the common struggles. Now like they're becoming more philosophical and like researching like ideas like Carl Jung and the studies of like like being to accept yourself, and if you like go to like love yourself, then you'd be able to like be more confident and like succeed more in life. So they've started like borrowing those elements and just like delivering, and then they're sending that positive message to their fan base and to like the general audience. So even their ideas like revolve around it, or like evolve, and still like like brings it to heart, like with their fans and like people who would probably be news to them.
Yeah, we really could like spend a whole episode on like all the different like literary and artistic like influences BTS has used. Because I mean, even with Wings era, like you have Herman Hesse's Damien, which is heavily influenced throughout the whole Wings, like the prequel films that they had when they were teasing that album, include even the music video for Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which has a ton of biblical references, a lot of art references in it too.
You think like people think they're like easily manufactured, or like they don't like research their own shit, but no, I really beg to differ. Like, just if you delve deeper into like the analysis, so like some of like their songs, especially in the Wings era and like the Love Yourself era, like you can find a lot of like references that they like learn, and like they just and then they even like put it in their music too, in their lyrics.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, like how cerebral they can get with some of these references, and it really makes you think, and it makes you want to almost become a good person. Like because of the music, people have actually gone and started reading, Jungian theory, and people have gone and read, Ursula, from Spring Day, because that is very heavily influenced by a short story, The One Who Walked Away from Omelas, which I've read the story itself, and it's a very short story, but it's like you see the references between the short story and the song itself, including how beautiful that song is. Like, you don't even need to know the lyrics. Like, you don't even know translation of the lyrics. Just musically, it hits you. And that's kind of the thing that drew me to them in the first place, is just musically how they grab me. And then you go into the lyric translations and you're like, oh, and then it just hits you on another level. But like they can emote throughout, like, through language, through the language barrier, these different feelings, like, happiness, joy, sadness, pain, all just through the music. And you don't have to know Korean to understand that. And that's just why, I vibe with them so well. And that's why I got into K-pop. I mean, what else is there for me to say?
Maybe like generic to say, I don't know. I got to K-pop because of BTS, but there is just like more like reason just why like people would love BTS in the first place, not because of their songs, but like just the messages and like the ideals that they put out through their music. And that is not like so easily manufactured. Like that's one of they're one of the most like genuine groups out there. And they're still, even though like they're like breaking records worldwide, they're still down to earth. And that's why I vibe and just like gravitate with their music and what the message that they put out. And I really hope people will get to like appreciate like from how they started out and like what they like promote, and hopefully people will be able to recognize like their success and everything that they put out, and impacted on like the music world in general.
Yeah, there's always going to be that stigma because there's always a little bit of, I think, that xenophobia, especially in the Western world. We're like, but they're Asian. It's like, that shouldn't matter. Honest to God, that should not matter when it comes to music, because music is universal. And they are really proving that. I mean, there's a reason why they're loved around the world, in multiple countries. And like, I mean, like an army is insane in its power. So do we want to recommend a couple B-sides? Like one from every era?
Yeah, okay.
Before we go?
Well, we should, we can say, you can check out like some of like their hit singles such as Run, Blood, Sweat and Tears. That's probably one of their most impactful songs at the time. Not Today. Mic Drop was my favorite popular hip hop that's more current.
Are you doing Mic Drop? Are you doing Mic Drop, or are you doing the Mic Drop remix from Stevie Aoki? Because there's two different versions.
The one with Steve Aoki without designers lines. But
we don't talk about the designer remix. We don't talk about that.
Okay, sure. Okay. And Idol without the Nicki Minaj remix, the original Idol. Like my favorite B-side, or like the ones that like is not like heard frequently, I would say Butterfly, just because like going back to like the more philosophical theories, and they reference like a lot of like Eastern East Asian poetry to their lyrics, which I think RM used, as well as like delving into like a more deeper sense of like love, and how it can like be so fleeting and it can like be gone in an instant. So I really like the lyrics, and the music really elevated more of like that like somber but like almost a bittersweet feeling into it. Also, but the ones I really recommended the most is, since I'm such I think I'm like a big fan of like more of their hip hop side into them. So I really definitely recommend listening to the Cyphers parts 2 to 4. Parts 2, which is called Triptych, School from the School Love Affair era. Part 3, which is subtitled Killer, during their Dark and Wild days. And then Part 4 during the Wings era. So you should really check out like the rap line from BTS, and and they're just like really like fun bops to like listen to, and then like just to get hype mostly, as well as also you could go check out like some of like their solo acts, especially with the rappers. So like with August D, with Suga, Daydream with J-Hope, and from V, who's the vocalist. I really like his Singularity song. So I think go back to Suga, Dechita, like, which is like more of a current single from him. And Map of the Soul, the Map of the Soul 7. I like the On, and my personal favorite is which is from that album.
Yeah, those are all really great picks. But I also you should go check out all their solo work between RM, Suga, and J-Hope. Suga releases all of his solo stuff as August D, which is DT Suga backwards, because DT being Daegu Town, Daegu being where he's from. So that's where August D comes from. But because both RM and Suga have 2 solo mixtapes, J-Hope has one currently. And there's also rumors, quote unquote rumors, that we're going to be hopefully getting a mixtape from V and from Jungkook very soon. Though Jungkook keeps saying he's working on it, but he's such a perfectionist that he can never get it finished. So eventually. But in terms of B-sides that I think you should take a listen to. I think one of the most I'm going to go back before even the B-sides. One of the more underrated like title tracks from them is, I think, No from Oh Are You Late Too, their second album. I think is woefully an underrated single. It talks about it's been very authoritative, very anti-disestablishment, where talking about pressures of school and stuff, and especially in Korea, like that was a huge deal. I really like the song itself. In terms of other B-sides, I do like the outros from the Most Beautiful Moment era, being Love Is Not Over and House of Cards, which depending on which versions you listen to, because there are the outro versions, and then there's also the full-length versions, because the full-length version of Love Is Not Over is full 7 members. But if you listen to the shorter versions, they are both they're vocal line only songs, but both really beautifully done songs. I still think House of Cards would be a James Bond theme if BTS wrote a James Bond theme song. Like that just goes in my mind.
Sorry, every time I listen. I usually think of like 50 Shades when I listen to that song. My apologies. Jenni.
No, I mean, it always goes to like a James Bond theme. I don't know why. It just always does for me.
That's a better comparison, though.
I try. I'm trying to think what else I want to shout out. Because I know we didn't shout out, but I still think Fake Love is one of their best.
My sister actually doesn't like that song. But I suppose my sister doesn't actually like that song, Fake Love.
She doesn't like Fake Love? Oh, I love Fake Love. Fake Love was the first music video of theirs I saw back in 2018. So
I think that's like what my sister what I heard like from BTS for the first time, even though my sister didn't really like it so much, is like, when she heard of it, disappointed.
Well, I'm an emo at heart, so like it totally hits on those like emo levels for me. So that's why. But even from the Love Yourself era, like I have to, like, another rap line song that you need to listen to is Tear.
Oh yeah, Tear from the rap line.
That is pretty much like the ultimate like breakup song, and it's so emotional, with all three of them rapping, and like their hearts are just being ripped out, and it's a really emotional song. I luckily have got to see it performed live, and it's just as heartbreaking live as it is on the album, if not more so. Like,
I think it's like more like anger fueled, like of a breakup song. I think if I ever experience heartbreak, I'd be able to listen and like just jump and just punch through air.
Yeah, it's just like you really kind of want to punch a wall. Like it's that kind of like emotional.
Punching wall.
It's a very emotional breakup song, but it's really, really beautifully done. Again, just showcasing the rap line and their immense talent.
Yeah, I think we've been like wrapping up like the rappers of BTS like so much. Not even fair.
I honestly think they are some of the best K-pop rappers out there, period. All three of them. And also to know too, J-Hope was not a rapper to begin with. J-Hope did not know how to rap when he debuted, or not when he debuted, but when he first got signed on to Big Hit. He learned everything because of RM and Suga. So, and even through that, he has developed his own style that you totally see on his.
Yeah, adapted his own style. Like apart from like Suga and RM, that's what's so most impressive about like him becoming a rapper and then having his own identity. I think he's probably my favorite rapper, just because he has like more of like a funky groove style to his hip hop.
That too, and he's also really good at subverting. Like he has these like he always like tends to like mix like these really like happier vibes in the song. But then he always his lyrics always have like a deeper meaning to it. He's really good at that subverting, I think, which is a talent. So, and then I also have to, I really like the emotional songs. I'm sorry, again, the emo and heart in me, because especially from their most recent stuff between Black Swan and Interlude Shadow, which was Suga's solo off the Map of the Soul 7, and those are like. Especially Black Swan talking about, when does this not become something I want to do anymore? Relating them writing music and then performing music to dancing in terms of like, there's a famous quote saying, a dancer dies twice, the first time when they stop dancing. And so it's that whole playing with that whole idea of when does this not become fun anymore, or does not become, something I love and, just becomes painful.
Yeah, I know, like even like a lot of artists who, are big and who wanted to pursue like art and music so bad, but until it becomes like more of like a manufactured thing and it's like they become burned out of it. That's like how I really feel with BTS, and something that would like really concern me if they ever get to that point,
Which I hope that. And then Shadow is which we just celebrated a year of Shadow being out in the world. But that seriously is one of my favorite solos as BTS, not outside of their mixtapes, but them as BTS doing their solo tracks. Just the amount of intensity and just lyricism that Suga puts in it. Talking about, playing with the shadow and, him as a rapper and stuff, especially because he's unabashedly not afraid about talking about mental health and stuff. He's talked about it a lot on his solo mixtapes. He's talked about a lot in life and stuff too. He's very open about, the struggles he's gone through, because he's definitely suffered from anxiety and depression and stuff, and he's very open about it.
Yeah, but like a really difficult upbringing as well, too, like how he struggled to like find like jobs and just do like support for his family.
So, and look at him now. Hopefully he's recovering from shoulder surgery. He's back now officially he's officially back in a capacity where he can actually be on stage. He can't dance yet, but he's slowly getting back to, hey, at least he can be on stage now and actually do stuff with them. So OT7, yay. But I think this was a really fun conversation talking about BTS and just what we really like about them, because there's a ton. There's a ton, and we could go hours talking about BTS, but we probably should start wrapping it up. Because there's just a lot of really rich, stuff that you can really dig from that. I mean, there's just going to be a group that's going to be talked about and dissected for a long time, even after they're done, as being a group. And for them, I mean, they're very much, ride or die OT7.
It's also not fun or not, like just keep being careful with like comparing them to other like popular groups or artists. But you know how like something calling like the Korean Beatles, while they may be different, like they're not like a rock and roll band, but I do kind of see in a way like how much they're influencing right now into like the music world so far, and like how much they're so like beloved by so many fans around the world, and the fact how like they've evolved with their music like the Beatles during their heydays in the 60s. So that's pretty much like I'm not like offended if I hear them being called the Korean Beatles, but they do have like like the similar like journey with them. Hopefully, like there's no Yoko Ono that would break them up. I'm kidding. If they started dating and they were getting married, hopefully the fans will like be okay with it. Chill, yeah.
Yeah. Can they chill? I mean, like seriously, at this point, I'm like they're all grown ass men. They can date whoever they want to date. Although,
but it's kind of difficult though, just because they're really busy at the time.
Yeah, they're very much. They're workaholics. All of them are workaholics. But like even Army tells them to slow down, like stop. Like when they went on hiatus, what was that? End of 2019, they got to go on hiatus for a little bit in the summer just to kind of relax, and that was just very welcomed by Army. For them just to go off and just relax and detox and not have to focus on things. Although we kind of got a forced, hiatus because of COVID. But
but pretty much like hopefully that's like the same thing with like a lot of like K-pop artists, because they work so hard, especially in their training days, just to become big. And like I really hope they find like a routine where they can let them have a break, and just like let them have like a length of time, like just to relax and just have fun.
Yeah, and hopefully they are also, proving where they are changing. They are changing the industry in terms of them, producing and writing a lot of their stuff. Now, a lot of groups have been doing that. We've talked about them in the past, like Stray Kids and Mamamoo and stuff. Like groups are, companies are letting their artists produce their own music. And
even like the military status too, like like the age of enlistment, because they got the BTS law as well.
So they're very influential. And so like I said, we're going to be talking about BTS for a very, very long time, way long past, I think, peak. Because I mean, I wonder if we've reached peak BTS yet. And I don't know if we have, because I thought, when I started hopping in ARMY in 2018 into 2019, I'm like, we haven't reached peak BTS. And I don't even know if we've still reached peak BTS, as they've now hit Billboard, Hot 100 top, the top of the charts and stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know where the top is, but I'm here for the ride. I'm here to enjoy the ride. So, but shall we? I don't know how to segue. Well, my segues are horrible.
No mention of Dynamite.
Not yet.
So,
well, kind of.
It will be along for the ride with the BTS hype train.
So, well, I mean, I guess Billboard Hot 100 is the only reason why they got Dynamite, but that's beside the point. But actually, I'll just go ahead and throw it to you, because I mean, I know you want to probably plug some stuff. Also, your memes have been freaking hilarious.
I've been spamming in our pages with just a bunch of memes, and I apologize on my part, even if it's come to the point of spam, but I got a lot of things. I'm an artist. I got a lot of things in my head. I wanted to put it out.
I've shared a few to my Noonas group chats, and they've all found them really hilarious. So you're still hilarious. Like the 80s one killed. The 80s one killed me.
with Bernie Sanders with his mittens on,
with the table.
I had to jump on the bandwagon with the Bernie Sanders inauguration.
She's been killing with the Bernie Sanders memes. I'm not even gonna lie. Like she's put them in a whole bunch of iconic. Like I lost it with the Blunts One Tears one, and then I really lost it with the 18 answer one. Like I was just gone.
That was an NCT stand. I was laughing at my work with the NCT related pictures, like the one with the NCT World where they're all in the box, and then you can see Bernie Sanders far away. So I had to put in a circle just to see where he is. And look at him with the group, and he's just sitting there with his mittens with the different costume with the different suits. No, I was just crying. I'm glad that some people a lot of people like the pictures.
Yeah, if you want to check out more of our Bernie Sanders inauguration memes, as well as other memes and stuff that Jenni likes to create, because she's the meme queen between the two of us. I can't Photoshop her shit. You should check out our Twitter and our Instagram, Noonas_podcast. Don't forget the underscore. I'm hoping to add my level of crackheadedness to that eventually. I'm not sure how, but I will figure it out.
I will train you in the art of photoshopping, my friend.
You're in that world of crackheadedness, because that's how I live. But you can follow me personally on Twitter at Chaos Bulldog, also on Instagram at Chaos Bulldog, or you can just Facebook me, facebook.com/Jenni Madisek. That's Jenni with an I. Just more random K-pop silliness on there, /sports silliness / my boyfriend taking me in memes. So, Jenni.
All right, then. So you can find me Jenni Lee Anno on Facebook, or if you want to see some of my non-memes, professional world design works, you can find me on Facebook at Jenni Lee Anno Designs, Instagram at Jenni Designs, or for my personal page, you can find on Instagram at RCL_ImagoJin, as well as the same username on Twitter at RCL_ImagoJin. All right, back to you, Jenni.
That is it for this week's episode of the Noonas podcast. Hopefully we can do another one of these next week, although we'll see how with two album reviews, 2 or 3, because I don't know if Aces is coming out next week too, because if Aces is coming out next week with their new stuff, I think we may have to skip a week. But I know we want to come back, because I know there's definitely a bunch of groups we want to talk about. I know Jenni really wants to talk about NCT. I really want to talk about ETs, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of 4th gen groups and 3rd gen groups that we definitely want to talk about.
And there's a certain 2nd gen will be making a major comeback next month. So hopefully we will discuss about that before they return. Hopefully when we're talking about SHINee, hopefully SHINee will be announcing a comeback soon between the 4 of them, because I would love to see a SHINee comeback here very soon. So. And Tame has been hyping it up too, about SHINee comeback.
course Taemin's hyping it up, because why would he not?
Yeah, he needs to hype it up before he gets enlisted.
Fair enough. I'm just gonna be so sad when he goes to the military. Not gonna lie.
I was gonna be laughing at his buzz cut hair, and then like the three of them just like kicking him out.
They would also. They would. Also, I would cry when Taemin's hair gets buzz cut. I'm not even gonna lie.
No, I'm just he has like a really like big goofy grin. I could just like just smile through the pain.
That's our baby. That's our cheesy baby. All right, we're out. We'll see you guys all next week. Fighting,
guys. Fighting.